There's no wind like where's the blow? Lucky charms up on my neck with no rainbow, a pot of glow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. There's no wind like where's the blow? Lucky charms up on my neck with no rainbow, a pot of glow. Thought pocket, kiss my rocket, no missile.
If you guys could please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are due on the road to 100 subscribers, turn on post notifications to know when I upload and when I streams, and follow me on Twitter to know when I upload and when I stream as well, because I'm always posting on Twitter. Now before we get into this video, I just want to inform you guys this is going to be a long one, and if there are certain things that you want to look forward through this video, I will be posting the timestamps on screen now, and it should be in the link of the description. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Alright, what is up guys, let's Soldier and bring out another Shinobi Striker video. In this video we're going to be talking about things in order to improve Shinobi Striker in the future to increase its longevity and make the game more exciting. So this will kind of be considered the season 2 of Shinobi Striker. The things that we're going to be discussing in this video is new items, new maps, new game bows, and jutsu balancing. So to start it off, we're going to discuss the new items that I believe that should be implemented into the game. But we're going to first talk about two things before we get into the new items, exactly what I want to talk about. First, we want to talk about implementing ways for us to spend our currency. If you are a long-time player such as me, you know that once you buy everything out of 1010's Ninja Tool Shop, there's literally nothing else that you can use your currency for. To change this, new ways need to be implemented in order for us to spend our currency. Ways that we can spend our currency will be allowing us to purchase scrolls, being able to purchase costume colors that we are currently missing, allowing us to buy previous Ninja World League rewards at a huge cost, such as maybe 1,000,000 roar for S rank and around 800,000 roar for A rank, and etc. These Ninja World League costumes would be on a weekly rotation just like they do in games such as Fortnite. They could also add entire new overhaul of new weapons and gear inside of the Ninja Tool Shop as well. For Ninja World League rewards, for the majority of Ninja World League seasons, we have been receiving a lot of reskins or costumes that the game developers had designed themselves, which are actually pretty cool. For season 2, I believe that Shinobi Striker should start implementing iconic character costumes and weapons into the game from Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to actually discuss the new weapons that I think that should be added, or at least some that should be added into Shinobi Striker. Now the new weapons need to be implemented in order to keep the diversity and making players feel like they look unique compared to other ninjas. These new weapons could either be reskinned or actually an entire new weapon type that has new combo routes for players to learn and explore. The first weapon I want to discuss is puppets. The puppets could be a range type weapon, and they are used as weapons by puppeteers and are fashioned into a manner that uses every part as a weapon, giving the puppeteer a myriad of ways to manipulate it. Puppets are long range types of weapons and can be used offensively, defensively, or supplementary reasons, and are controlled via chakra threads. These could be a dope range weapon and could be implemented as new combos for the range type. Now puppets, this is a very controversial weapon just because it's kind of hard to see it being implemented into the game and actually being balanced. Now if this isn't implemented to being a weapon, I could see puppets actually being a form of jutsus for a DLC character. The next weapon I want to discuss is the 7 Stars Blade, or Shishikinsen. It's a defense type weapon in my opinion. It is referred to as one of the treasured tools of the Sage of Six Path. It has a light blue core with a flat sword with a brown talisman hanging from the bottom. This is a perfect weapon for defense types and would use the twin swords combos in my opinion. Now as I'm going through this, you guys should be seeing images on the screen of each weapon as I'm going through talking about them. For the next weapon, we're going to be discussing a weapon for the attack type Kana Tonfa. Consists of a stick with a perpendicular handle attached a third of the way down the length of the stick. Tonfa may be used to strike, jab, block, and bludgeon, and because of these designs and application, Tonfa are most skillfully wielded by those around already highly proficient in close range combat. This is a perfect attack type weapon and could either use chocolate blade combos or can introduce new combos for attack types. For the final weapon that I found, we can do the Konoha Chakra Blade. This would be considered a heal type weapon and is a standard chakra conducting weapon wielded by shinobi from Konoha. These blades have the appearance of an elegant kunai but are more sword-like in nature. This blade could work for heal types that can possibly use the knife combos, or if they want to, they can implement new combos for the heal type as well. Now for getting into the costume, this is probably the most exciting part I have for this video, because costumes are like the dopest thing in Shinobi Striker, and really is one reason why a lot of people grind into the game. Now for character costumes, these costume ideas, like I previously stated before, can come from any part of the Naruto series and should be either awarded through scrolls, purchasable within in-game currency, earned through NWL, or come with purchasable DLC characters. Now these costumes that's going to be giving you an example of are just personal choices and are just my opinion pretty dope costumes from the series. The first one we want to show off is Sasuke's tuning exam uniform. This is probably one of the coolest character design costumes I've ever seen in Naruto, and it's just sad that it was only showing off for a short period of time within the show. Next we have Haku's kimono. This could be used for girls and guys. It just looks pretty cool in my opinion. Next we have the Anbu gear. Anbu gear is probably one of the dopest things in Naruto. And just being able to look like an Anbu Black Ops member just looks pretty cool. The next will be Sasuke's the last uniform. Having the little poncho would just be pretty cool, and it's just a new implementation and allowing you to look different within the game, unlike most people how we almost kind of look the same just with different colors. Next is definitely a personal choice in my opinion. I don't see too many people talking about Conqueror, but I just think his costume design looks pretty dope and I wouldn't mind having it as well. And then to add another female applicable costume, we have Mei the 5th Mizukage. I don't believe her costume is added to the game. I know her hair is, but her costume design will be pretty good for a female character. Now for new maps need to be added in order to add a new and fresh feeling for Shinobi Striker. For all future maps, to keep every Shinobi Striker player sane and have an even playing field, no new map should have any pitfalls contained within it. Every pitfall map leads to unearned kills due to no recoveries and stupid deaths because of random lag spikes from the game, and these lag spikes are not even because of your connection. Now some map ideas that I have are the Great Naruto Bridge, Orochimaru's Hideout, the Great Ninja War Battlefield, and the Kamui Dimension. Now for new game modes, the only new game mode that we really need to be added into Shinobi Striker is private matches. Private matches is a must needed thing in Shinobi Striker. It will increase the longevity of the game and allow people to create amazing experience within the game. Players will be able to fight against their friends and clans will be able to host clan battles. Currently in Shinobi Striker, trying to do these things is basically near impossible to do. If you have a group of friends bigger than a party size of 4 and want to play together, or you want to versus a clan, you will have to literally try to match up against each other in quick play, ninja warrior, or survival exercise. This is not a viable way, so implementing private matches will make our experience trying to play with friends and doing clan battles a lot easier. Now we're going to get into the main crop of the video, which is jutsu balancing. This is the most needed thing in Shinobi Strike. If nothing else happens in this video, jutsu balancing needs to happen. And I want to say that I also included ninja tool balancing as well under jutsu, just because it's a part of your toolkit with the different types, and so there will be some ninjutsu tools changes as well. For the main event, we're going to be starting off with defense type. These are the most broken things in the game right now, and they need the most balancing. For defense types, we're going to first start off with the ninja tool, the blast bomb. I believe it deserves a nerf. The nerf should be an increase to cooldown time and reduce heavy knockback on block. Blast bombs is the most used ninja tool in the game for defense type. This is because the tool applies heavy knockback when you're blocking and not blocking. It can be used as a combo finisher and is downright extremely annoying. The best way to possibly balance this tool is to increase the cooldown time and either reduce the knockback on block or completely remove knockback on block. Now we're going to get into ninjutsu. The first ninjutsu that we're going to cover is a Trigon's Paw rotation. This is technically going to be a nerf, but hear me out. For the nerf, we want to reduce the active frames on rotation. The jutsu isn't really overpowered, it just has too many active frames. What this means is that when the jutsu is already over for in about 2 or 3 more seconds, when the user is just standing there, they are still given the active frames of being able to deflect as if they still have rotation going on, which isn't correct. Rotation is already over, so you should be able to punish them and be able to attack them. For the next jutsu, we're going to be talking about partial expansion jutsu, which we're going to be giving this technically a buff. We want this jutsu to be able to force users out of subterranean voids, which is technically going to be a direct nerf to subterranean as well. Partial expansion is in a good state and it does pretty good damage, has an aerial ground pound, a 360 rotating attack like the defense triangle spam, and the reason this jutsu is added into this list so that the defense type can have a counter to subterranean voids. With the aerial ground pound, this This should allow the jutsu to have the ability to force subterranean users out the ground. Next jutsu we want to cover is water style shock bomb. This will be a buff as well, and we want this to have a reduced startup time. Shock bomb is a decent jutsu, but it can be better if the startup time frames for the jutsu was reduced. It takes a long time for the jutsu to activate and track its target, making it seem inferior to the ninjutsu toy or bombs that you receive from Jiraiya as DLC. The next jutsu that we're going to be talking about is the main thing that needs to be handled for defense types, and that is Earth style subterranean voyage. For the nerf that we're going to be talking about, we want to reduce the movement speed, reduce health regen, and apply disadvantage frames. Now subterranean is extremely versatile and moved to the point where it is viewed as overpowered in the community. This is due to a noticeable increase in the popularity within the builds for all defense users. To make this move balanced, the movement speed needs to be reduced heavily and health regen needs to be lowered slightly or moderately. Also, disadvantage frames need to be added to the move when the user comes back out of the ground. This means that the user shouldn't be able to activate or jutsu or attack a target using their attack buttons and ninja tools. So you guys know, when after subterranean is over and the user comes out, normally what a defense type do is that they will use the triangle spam, then throw a blast bomb. In my opinion, when coming out of the ground, they should be stuck in frames where they can't do nothing but just come up and just sit there for maybe just a second, or consider it maybe just a frame. In my opinion, this will balance the jutsu, because you technically don't exactly know when they're gonna come out, because they can easily juke you up and come out early and then attack you. But in my opinion, this is not fair, and so having this little disadvantage frames added will properly balance it, in my opinion. Next jutsu, we're going to be covering a snake thrust, and we want to nerf this. First, we want to remove the debuffs and buff and increase the cooldown time. Just like subterranean void, snake thrust is a heavily used ninjutsu for the defense type. In my opinion, the user is at too much of a greater advantage than their target. This jutsu has a great damage, destroys sand shield and breaks guards, causes heavy damage knockback, slows their target's movement speed, and gives the users health back. This is 6 advantages that they receive for just equipping this skill. To properly balance this move, their target movement speed shouldn't be reduced, the user shouldn't receive health back, and the cooldown time should be increased from 12 seconds to 14 seconds. This will still leave the jutsu in a valued and usable state, but also tones it down to keep the targets it's used against on fair ground. For the secret technique that we're going to be discussing, we want to nerf Sage Mode. First, we want to increase the charge time, and next we want to reduce the kill charge amount when activated. Sage Mode is pretty balanced like Secret Technique, Earth 8 Inner Gate, 7 Heavenly Breaths. You get attack, defense, and speed boost, but your ninjutsu is sealed. The only problem with this Secret Technique is that you get it too fast. This is probably one of the defense type's best secret techniques, and they get it the fastest. Your ninjutsu might be sealed, but you hit like a truck. Your movement speed is increased enough to the point that you can chase down your targets, and you barely take any damage. Also, while you're in Sage Mode, you get an enormous amount of Secret Technique charge time back when getting kills. Increasing the charge time and reducing how much charge you get for kills while it's active should be the best way to properly balance Sage Mode. Next, we want to look at Reaper Death Seal, and we're going to give Reaper Death Seal a buff. We want to decrease the charge time. For the defense type, Reaper Death Seal is the only guaranteed one-hit kill super, and it takes a lot of charge time to get this technique. Decreasing its charge time would be great for this jutsu, since it's only focused and kills one target at a time. Next type that we want to focus on that needs the next major changes is attack types. The first thing for attack types we want to focus on is ninja tool kunais. Kunais, in my opinion, needs a nerf, and kunais are under attack types and heal types as well, so the changes we want to be talking about for this will be affected on heal types as well. We want to reduce the amount of kunais that you have. Now, kunais aren't unbalanced, but I think lowering the amount of kunai on the attack type and the heal type can have from 4 to 3 will be a good change. This will reduce kunai spam from attack types, making kunais more valuable and making users think wisely when using their kunais, and will also put it in the proper balance with Simbone. If you didn't know, Simbone only has 3, and for kunais, for attack types and heals, you get 4 kunais. To me, that isn't balanced and fair, because plus range types, we're supposed to have the range arsenal, and attack types get more kunais than we get Simbones, and to me that just doesn't make that much sense. For ninjutsu, we're going to first talk about Leaf Whirlwind. Leaf Whirlwind needs a buff. And for the buff, we want to improve tracking. Whirlwind is a good balanced jutsu in the game. It just can't compete with Leaf Rising Wind. This is due to its poor tracking, of which it terribly needs. Whirlwind is really only a combo opener when breaking the opponent's guard, while Rising Wind can open up combos, continue combos, and can end combos pretty effectively. Whirlwind tends to struggle in the other departments due to players normally dropping out of combos when Whirlwind is activated. I believe just improving the tracking on Whirlwind will make it more of a viable jutsu and will allow more diversity in the moves that break guards for the attack types. For the next move, we're going to be focusing on Sage Art Wind Style Rasen Shuriken. This needs a buff. The buffs that I feel as if it should be applied to the jutsu is apply armor and improve the tracking. Rasen Shuriken is an okay jutsu. It has a good damage, a great range, but it doesn't stand a chance against the other great range and jutsus that the attack type offers. Compared to the Wood Dragon, the startup time is garbage. Compared to Vanish Rasengan, it can't break guards, and compared to both, the tracking is subpar. To make this a viable jutsu, armor should be applied to it to compensate for its horrible startup time, and the tracking should be improved slightly, at least on the same level as Wood Dragon. Now, this jutsu I'm about to discuss now is probably going to hurt a lot of attack types' feelings, and it's kind of hurting me too, but it needs to happen. Sharingan needs a nerf. In my opinion, the nerf needs to be increased the cooldown time. Sharingan is one of the pinnacle jutsus for an attack type. The jutsu isn't really overpowered, but having the ability to have an extra substitution is extremely valuable. In some cases, maybe too valuable, depending on who has the jutsu or who is the one using it. I believe the proper way to ultimately balance the jutsu is to increase the cooldown time from 13 seconds to 15 to 16 seconds. The next jutsu that we need to get nerfed is probably one jutsu that everybody will be excited for, especially if you play Flag Battle. And this is Flying Raijin Jutsu level 1. This needs a nerf, and we need to decrease the teleport time window and increase the cooldown time. Now, the only reason this jutsu is considered a problem is because of Flag Battle and how it's set up. You kill the enemy team 4 times, and now you can instant cap their flag and just use Flying Raijin to teleport back. To properly balance this jutsu in situations like this, the teleport back to the cooldown time window should be decreased from 15 seconds to 8 to 10 seconds, and the cooldown time for the jutsu itself should be increased from 10 seconds to 13 to 15 seconds. This will prevent users from being able to set their kunai halfway across the map and grab your flag and instantly be halfway back to their spawn. The cooldown time nerf will properly balance the ninjutsu with the Sharingan nerf I stated before. For the secret techniques for the attack type, we want to buff Kamui. The buff that we want to do is speed up animation. Kamui is a secret technique that requires the proper setup and timing for it to consistently work and get kills. This is similar to Current, but Current has a faster animation speed and a bigger radius. I think to effectively make Kamui a threat, the animation for the technique needs to be sped up. This will allow quicker kills for the user and prevent targets from easily jumping and dashing out of the secret technique. Now, you guys are probably thinking Kamui has a fast animation, but no, it does not. If you guys know, when you start up Kamui, the camera first shifts to you and shows you activating your Mangekyo, and then it switches to you going back to your target and crushing them into the Kamui dimension. But you guys probably don't know is that the animation of the camera showing you in the Mangekyo, your target is actually being notified that the Kamui is activated around them. In my opinion, that animation of you looking at yourself obtaining Mangekyo should be removed, and it should be instantly going to the Kamui, squeezing your target into the dimension. The next types I want to be focusing on the next changes are range types. Now, I'm going to say this off bat, majority of these changes for range types are buffs, but they aren't crazy buffs. I'm telling you, I'm not saying this just because I main range. These changes need to happen for range, but you're going to understand that these changes are balanced. For the first jutsu, we're going to be talking about the Super Beast Scroll Bird. This needs a buffs and it needs a range increase. Beast Scroll Birds is a much slept on jutsu. It does pretty good damage. It has a great tracking, but it lacks the range. The range for this jutsu should be brought up from 3 to 4 to make it more viable. Literally all jutsu under the range type with a range of 3 and lower are not usable and don't even have potential, but Beast Scroll Lion Birds on the other hand has the potential and can be a great jutsu with just a small range buff. A lot of the range jutsu on range types have a range of 5, while this only has a range of 3. I'm not saying maxing the range out, but put it at least at a range of 4, making it a more viable jutsu to use. The next jutsu that we're going to be focusing on is detonating clay twin birds. This should receive a buff. The buff that it should receive is apply armor or speed up the animation time. Twin burst is a good balanced jutsu in the game, it just can't compete with fireball jutsu. They both have the same power, range, and cooldown time. What makes twin burst worse than fireball jutsu though is the twin burst startup animation. The twin burst startup animation is one of the longest animations for a jutsu in the game, and it can be interrupted. The animation upon activation is literally your character holding the hand sign for the jutsu, completing a 360-degree spin, and then releasing the clay burst. I feel to make this jutsu more effective, armor should be applied so you can't be interrupted, or the animation for the jutsu should be sped up. To speed up the animation, all you will really have to do is just remove the 360-degree spin from the animation. If this possibly makes this jutsu more superior than fireball jutsu, then the best way to bring this jutsu down is to increase the cooldown time from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. The next range jutsu that we're going to discuss is Amaterasu, and this needs a buff. What the buff is improved casting. Amaterasu is one of the top tier moves for the range type. This jutsu doesn't lack in any department, it just needs really a quality of life change. The Amaterasu flames are supposed to spawn at your target's feet when casted, but if there is anything blocking your line of sight, then the flames will just spawn onto whatever is blocking your sight. This needs to be changed and should be changed because jutsus like the laughing Buddha hands don't run into this problem, and neither should Amaterasu. Next, we're going to be getting to the range type secret techniques, and the first thing we need to discuss is the super god imitation drawing. This needs a buff. It needs improved tracking, range increase, and lower target's movement speed. This secret technique is literally never used by anybody in the game. It barely does any damage, the tracking is garbage, and the range is meh. To just make the jutsu worth using, its range needs to be increased. It needs to be able to track the summoning jutsu reanimation. Also, a lower movement speed status element needs to be applied to the target instead of lowering their attack speed. The next jutsu that we want to focus on is C4 Kara. This needs a buff. It needs an increase in blast radius and a speed up animation time. C4 Kara is a secret technique that I want to enjoy just because I'm a Datara fan, but it's very inconsistent. This inconsistency can be improved by widening the blast radius and speeding up the animation time of the secret technique slightly. This should put it almost as being just as good as Karen, but slightly worse. The next secret technique that we want to focus on is Tatsuya Blade, and this needs a buff. It needs an animation change and a sealed target secret technique gauge. Currently, this secret technique is disrespectful to how great Itachi Susanoo really was. It was stated that the Tatsuya blade could pierce anything and seal the target it pierces. In this game, it rarely even hits, and when it does, it doesn't kill. To improve the secret technique, the animation of the sword swing needs to be changed from a vertical swipe to a horizontal swipe so that it covers a greater radius, and whoever is hit by the blade secret technique gauge should be sealed for a short period of time. This will make Tatsuya Blade a range type version of the defense type Super Shark Bomb. The next secret technique that needs a change is the Shinigami Dance Storm. This needs a buff, but this buff will be a quality change of life. You should be able to activate this jutsu in the air. The Shinigami Dance is currently in a good state and is actually starting to be used in a lot of range builds. The secret technique really just needs a small quality of life change. The user should have the option to activate the jutsu either in the air or on ground. Next, we're going to be getting into heal types, and first we're going to be looking at their ninja tools. Their ninja tool is the same as kunai, so the nerf that I stated before about it just having one less kunai is the same nerf that should be applied to the heal types kunai. The first ninjutsus that we are going to be focusing on for the heal type is Cherry Blossom Clash and Crimson Drizzle. We are focusing on these at the same time because they are basically the same ninjutsu, just one of them reaches further. These jutsus both are going to receive a buff, and what this buff is forces user out of subterranean voids like we did with the partial expansion jutsu. Both Cherry Blossom Clash and Crimson Drizzle are situational jutsus that are only needed when the enemy team has sand shield and no other type on your team can handle or get rid of the sand shield. Well, another way to make these jutsus viable is to allow them to have the ability to force subterranean voids users out of the ground. For the next and final thing that we want to cover for the heal type is Byakugan. This is going to be getting a buff and a nerf. We want to lower the target's defense and increase its cooldown time. Byakugan is at a state where it's not even worth using. It allows you to see your targets through the walls and gives you your teams an unnoticeable attack power buff. To improve this jutsu, it should also lower the target's defenses as well. This will make Byakugan more of a valuable option for healers and possibly increase in its popularity. Also, adding this will require an increase in cooldown time from 13 seconds to 16 to 18 seconds to keep the jutsu balanced. Now, another segment that needs to be discussed is DLC characters, but I will do a completely separate video for that because I want to go in depth on what DLC characters I want to see in this game and should be implemented in this game, and what ninjutsus and secret techniques they should be added. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I don't got a lot of patience. Funny cause I got the remedy. All of my enemies showing their faces. They tryna get rid of me, they want the end of me. Woo! Goodness gracious, but they gon' pick up a blade. I'm feeling like Jason, I'm feeling like raging. Already made up my mind, they can't tell me to change it. Live it life, minute by minute, I pretty grind. Soon as I spit a line, it is like genocide.